Watching a person, an individual or an organisation go through change has got to be one of the most thrilling things that we can see. The courage that it takes to see that change coming and then move towards it is just fantastic. As a society, we're chronically overmanaged and underled. We're in this leadership desert. And people are so thirsty for leadership that they'll drink the sand. The truth is that we're right smack bang in the middle of a 500-year scientific revolution. We know a lot about people. And so if we can help leaders understand more about people, then it gives them the ability to lead well rather than just simply default to management. The science of leadership, it's a really cool topic because what we know is that good leadership equals good business. Good leaders do three things really, really well. The first thing that leaders can do is, number one, they help people manage pressure. So knowing when to dial it up and when to back it off. Incredibly important. The second thing is what managers do really well is they help people make progress. And sometimes it's just the perception of progress that helps people get motivated. The third thing that exceptional leaders do well is that they help their team establish connections. What we're talking here is not simply just a recognition of position, but a recognition of person. So within that team is establishing deep bonds of trust. The edge effect is a keynote where we look at how successful species behave. What we know is that there are three critical success factors for any species in a change environment. Number one is they explore the change. They don't run from the change, they run directly towards it. They explore the new environment and how that can suit them. The second key thing that those successful species do in the natural world, which is directly applicable to our business world, is they adapt accordingly. So they don't resent the change, they don't resist the change, but they actually say, how can I adapt myself accordingly into this space? And then the third key element, and it's so critical for successful organisations facing change, is that they specialise accordingly. What can they be famous for? Where can they find their niche within this new change environment? Toughen up is a really exciting concept. What we know is, without doubt, that we are facing this constant change environment, but how do we build really, really resilient and agile cultures to adapt towards that change? Interestingly enough is that culture would have to be the most discussed, least understood topic on the planet. And if we can turn around and help people understand that a culture is simply a repeatable set of behaviours in a given context, what we know is that if we choose certain behaviours, that can actually bulletproof our culture as a result. A conference can be a marvellous thing for behaviour change. When we get those teams away from their workplace for a day, they start to think differently. But what we also need to consider is not just thinking differently, but behaving differently when they go back to that workplace. So what can we do at that conference that will change people's behaviours in a lasting fashion? That's our great challenge. And that's where I like to work with clients and say, well, if you're going to take them out for a day, what do you do back in that environment so that when they re-enter that environment, things are different? Giving people hope but not giving them tools, it's a waste of time and effort and resource. But if we can take people and we can create a catalyst for change, and sometimes that can happen just in a keynote, if we can give them the tools then to actually change their behaviour at work, magic happens.